You are here on purpose with a purpose by design and not by default. And it is your time right now to share your story on Right Now. I am Pamela Hinkle, my co-host and the visionary author of this amazing book. And this isn't her first visionary author. She's done many and is a top-selling, best-selling author 14 times, I believe it is. Dawn Lieck is in the house with us. Dawn, yay! Welcome.
Hello, Pamela, and hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I am so excited.
It is going to be so awesome. Is there anything that you want to tell us about before we bring on the authors that we have tonight?
Absolutely. These authors are just absolute fire. The level of expertise and the nuggets that they're sharing throughout this book are amazing. It's every facet of business, Pamela, that you can imagine. It's from one end of the spectrum to another. There is no entrepreneur that could read this book that would not take something fabulous away from it. So with that being said, I am going to start with much honor introducing you to a few of these authors. And we have Miss Kathy White first. Yes, Miss Kathy. Yes. Hello to you.
Hello, how are you guys?
We are fabulous and so happy to see you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. So I'm excited to be here.
And we're thrilled to have you. Miss Pamela, take it away.
Oh my goodness, Kathy, it's so awesome to have you here. Kathy and I have the privilege of knowing each other through different areas that we work together in, but it has been a joy to be part of this anthology with you. And I'm so excited to hear a little bit about your journey and have you share it with all that are viewing and watching right now and those that will be watching later. So, Kathy, tell us what has been the best part of this anthology for you?
Oh, well, yeah, honestly, the best part has been having Dawn guide us because I had never done an anthology before. And so to have the level of expertise that Dawn has and for her to actually tell us exactly what we need to do, the deadlines, she's telling us post graphics on this day and whatnot. And I was like, I wouldn't have known what to do if it wasn't for Dawn. So honestly, I'm super grateful for Dawn.
Oh, I can appreciate that. Dawn, you were so good at that, and just taking everybody by the hand and marching us out on down the road to make sure that everything's done. So easy.
To make it such a great experience, everyone has to know what they're doing and why, right? It's with anything, people want to know the why are we doing this, and so you have to have the explanation.
You do a very good job of that, and you make it fun. You make it so much fun that it doesn't feel like work at all. So when anybody out there watching, when you get a chance to work with this lady, jump on board in one of her anthologies and you will literally have your life changed because it is such an incredible experience. But back to you, Kathy. Now tell us a little bit about your chapter and tell us why you chose the topic that you did for Bossier Lane.
Yes. Well, I'm going to also, you said something about the fact that it doesn't feel like work. And it's kind of funny that you said that because I actually said that to myself today. I was like, I need to go work, but this doesn't feel like work. And I was like, this is awesome. But as far as my chapter goes, I chose Your Business Foundation. I have an accounting background, so I'm very pretty methodical on a lot of things. But as far as it seems like a lot of entrepreneurs, and I was honestly in that same boat, is they have this vision and this dream, but they don't have a foundation. And so, like, if a house doesn't have a great foundation, it's going to crumble. And if your business doesn't have a strong foundation, it's going to crumble as well. And so my chapter is about your business foundation. It's about your why, because you have to have a big why. As cliche as that is, you have to have a big why, because it's challenging being an entrepreneur. It's sometimes lonely, and sometimes you're just like beating your head against a wall. So you have to know your why about what you're doing, and so that it will get you through those times. And then also it's about the vision. What do you see? Your mission statement, your core values, and then accountabilities, because accountability is key as well. And my favorite is to have fun, because life is about having fun.
Yes. Yes, it is. And I love that, what you said, because number one, we need a good foundation, don't we? Oh, I don't know about anybody out there watching, but there was times in the beginnings of my entrepreneurship and my solopreneurship where, oh, what I would have given to have had this book, right? To have this foundation created. And here you are starting us off, Kathy, talking about that firm foundation, that solid foundation. And it's not just giving lip service, right? You need to have a foundation. You're actually pouring it out in the pages, how to do that. And I love that you pointed back to your why, because our why, as Ian Harvey says, should make us cry, right? And that's not tears of woe. That's like, it so fills you to overflowing, right? And that's what you're talking about. And that's part of that foundation to keep you going when, like you said, you feel lonely or you come up against struggles. What a great idea for your chapter. I'm so excited to read it because I haven't read it. So I'm excited for it. All right, Miss Dawn, is there anything else you want us to ask Kathy? Or are we ready to bring on another author?
I think Kathy has said quite enough, because we want to keep this kind of under wraps, until they can get their hands on this book. But it's been a joy. It's been an absolute joy. And I will let y'all know the chapter is amazing. So you're going to want to read it. Thank you so much, Kathy. The next fabulous author that we have is Mr. Jonathan Haynes. And Jonathan is one of our are you a millennial? Are you a millennial? You fall under the millennial? I never know the differences of those. All I know is that Jonathan has come out of the gate as an entrepreneur. Okay, I think he came out of the womb as an entrepreneur. He has got a few different things going on. So, Mr. Jonathan, welcome, 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 and thank you so much for contributing to our anthology. Miss Pamela?
Oh my goodness. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so glad that you're here and super excited to hear what you have to share with us today. So welcome. And how about for you? What is it that caused you to want to be a part of this anthology of Bossier Lane? What did it for you?
See that there were so many entrepreneurs giving advice to anybody that wants to start up a business. So when I seen Bossier Lane, I knew it was something that I needed to be a part of, because I didn't have this. I'm only 25. So I've been doing this for the past 3 years. So I knew that it was something good to give the young people and the older people who don't have the advice, that they're going to get so much from different people around the world giving them advice. So as soon as I seen it, I joined, because I knew this book is going to be amazing.
Yes, it is going to be amazing. And I love what you said there, giving advice to all age groups. And that is, I know, Dawn, that's your heart, is that this is going out to anybody and everybody that has a desire to learn and to literally boss their lane.
Yes, and we created it saying advice for the novice entrepreneur, but there is so much information and amazing nuggets in this book that even a seasoned entrepreneur is going to take away from this book, because we're always learning, right? So it doesn't matter how long we've been in business. We may read something in there that will just be so enlightening to us that we may change something that we're doing or learn something new. So yes, it's for all ages as well as all stages and all stages of business.
Love that. All ages and all stages. That's great. So, Jonathan, We want a sneak peek into your chapter and why you chose the topic that you did.
Chapter title is Rising Boss, because I want everybody to understand you don't have to have all the money, you don't have to have all that support to start the business. All you need to have is the mindset that you know you want to do something. So I put key steps on how I became an entrepreneur during the pandemic, because I started all the businesses that I had during the pandemic. So I want to give key advice and all the tips that people gave me to know no matter where you come from or where you are, you can rise up and be that successful boss. So it's going to be amazing. I don't want to give too much away, but this whole book and that chapter is going to give you something to keep your eyes for the future.
Wow. Keep your eyes for the future. That's a big deal when you're in business, because it can become sometimes so, there's so much pressing to have a continuous mind and eye set vision for the future. And that's what you're going to be talking about and educating people on. That is amazing. And I love how you said to keep us rising. Wow, that's phenomenal. I'm super excited to read yours as well. Dawn?
Absolutely. I have had the honor of reading all of these chapters and the enlightenment for myself. And I've been in business a minute, right? But some of the stuff that I read, I'm just, it's just, I'm in awe of it. So we would love for you to have a copy of it. You will like start reading it immediately. I've already read it and I bought it today and I read it again, for the most part. So definitely just wanted to say to viewers, you can get it now for $1.99.
Wow. For $1.99? That's all?
$1.99 for the Kindle copy. Yes, ma'am.
And it's available now.
Right this minute. Right this minute.
Go grab your copy right now. Go grab that. Go to your neighbors. Get on the phone. Wow, that is super exciting.
Wow. Definitely.
Right.
And we did have Miss Sher come with us, but I think she had some technical difficulties, so she's wasn't able to get back on yet. So until she does, Miss Pamela, if you have any other questions that you would love to ask, because I know that you are usually full of questions, because that's what you do, hit us with them.
Okay, well, I do have some questions.
Okay.
One of them is directed to you, Miss Dawn.
Okay.
To just kind of unpack this a little bit for us. How did Bossier Lane become Bossier Lane? I mean, how did it get birthed in you? This was going to be the next anthology. Kind of just walk us through that, because here it is. You can purchase it right now. But back up the cart a little bit, rewind, and share with us how this process happened in your heart.
Absolutely. We were in the midst of the pandemic, and I was talking to Shadaria Allison, who is, a mastermind creative in itself. And we were talking about business, and we were talking about the pandemic, and we were seeing so many people that were losing their jobs, and things just weren't secure. The world, it's settled a little bit now, but it's still not, settled. But at that point in time, we really didn't know what in the world was going to happen and what was going on. So people immediately started entrepreneurship, because they figured out their job may not be secure, or they'd already lost their job. They were laid off, things were closing down, and people had to have some type of livelihood. And so they were starting these different businesses. And we were also seeing in the midst of that, a lot of the entrepreneurs were almost in a bit of a desperate mode, because it was like the job was gone and maybe they didn't have a lot of money, but they were spending this money trying to get the business started up because they have kids to feed, right? And so in seeing that, we saw a lot of them being taken advantage of and investing in things that they not necessarily needed to invest in to start off their business. And that's one thing for me that I just, seeing people being taken advantage of when they're trying to better themselves is just too much for me. So, I thought, why not a book? Because I was planning on my next anthology, but it was given to me. Why not a book to help these novice entrepreneurs understand the basics, to not be taken advantage of, to not invest in these shiny, glittery things that they think that they need to start out with, and they don't. They need to start where they're at and invest in things that are going to give them a return on the investment instead of investing in something because other people have it, that they might not need to start out. And I often use the fancy website as an example. I mean, I've been in business over 3 years. I've been in business my entire life, in management type business. But as an entrepreneur, it's been 3 years. And I just now am getting a website, because prior to this, I didn't need a website because I wasn't selling anything on a website. And I just had a landing page. And a landing page is a fraction of the cost of having a fancy website created to the tune of thousands of dollars. When you start out, if you're not selling anything, or you don't need a store per se or something along those lines, you don't need the full fancy website. You can start off with a landing page that, like I said, is a fraction of the cost, that still gives you visibility and gives you a place to display what you're offering, right? And so it's things like that. But when you're brand new, you don't know that. You just see what everyone else has, and you think, well, if I want to be in business, I've got to have, and that's the first thing. I've got to have a fancy logo, and I've got to have, a fancy website, because what are people going to think if I don't? We're comparing ourselves to others, which we know is the thief of all joy. And we're comparing our day one to someone else's day 365. We don't know how they got to where they got, right? So we all have to start out somewhere, and we all need, I call it the angel on the shoulder. We all need a mentor. We all need some type of information shared with us, a helping hand, someone that can take us through, someone that we can call and talk to about our business, and someone that's not going to charge us thousands of dollars to answer a question, right? And so we have that all wrapped up in this book. We have all of those different things. We have the basics, we have contact information for each one of these authors, so that if it's something that you're interested in, or something that you're reading resonates with you, you can get in contact with these authors and talk to them and see what they're all about, and better yourself just by reading. And like you said, I wish I would have had this at the beginning, and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars ago, because I did the same thing. I invested and invested and invested in different things, and that I wasn't to that level in my business yet. I was investing in things that were, much further down the road. But when you don't know, you don't know. And so I wanted the basics to be spelled out in a foundation, like Kathy said, a foundation for your business. The information on how to build that foundation before you start building the top floor, before the foundation, because you can't go from point A to point Z, right, without the B and the C and the D. But what we're doing is we're not progressing like that. We're starting at point A with the idea and the dream, and then we're letting other people talk us into point Z, which should be 5 years down the road, but we think we need it, so we spend this money. So just if we could help one person starting out in business invest their money correctly for where they're at, and help them to progress along. So that was the whole premise of the book. Is we're in a changing times. We are in changing times. It's been a whirlwind for the past almost 2 years now, and it's not stopping. And so, yes, everyone needs to, and I really dislike the word, but I'm going to say it. People are still pivoting. They are still pivoting. And so they are still losing jobs. They are still being laid off. They are still, being evicted from their homes. There's a need for entrepreneurs. There's a need for them to have hope, but not be taken advantage of in the process of building their dream. And so that's what we're here for. We're here giving it all, giving it out. And so, $1.99 today. Yes, you'll be able to get your hard copy of the book later on down the road, purchase it from your favorite author. But for now, you can have a gander at it for the $1.99. So that's where it came from. That's where it was birthed.
Ooh, have a gander at it.
Yes, a gander.
It looks like our third guest is here.
This is none other than Miss Sher Graham, and she has really shared some nuggets with us, for her many years in business. And so, Miss Pamela, I'm sure you have questions for her.
Yes, I do. And hello, Sher. It's so good to have you with us. Thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here with everyone else. It's been a fun process.
Well, I am excited, and I know everybody watching and listening is excited to hear a little bit about your story. So let's start with you telling us, what was it that caused you to want to be involved in the Bossier Anthology?
That is a very good question, but it's an easy answer. I started writing book chapters this year to get me back into writing. I'm a writer by trade, as well as several other areas that I work in. And it was a way for me to begin to figure out what I wanted to write. And working with Dawn has been a treat, because I've been waiting for her to do a business anthology of something that would bring expertise to people who were in business. And I heard Dawn say earlier, I started my company when I was 17, and I'm turned 70 this year. So I'm kind of I have a long year of longevity as an entrepreneur, but it hasn't been easy. There are days I've pivoted, I've twirled. I don't pivot, I twirl. Some days I'll twirl one way, some days I'll twirl the other, because I learned quickly that I became a consultant when I was 21. I was what everyone else in the world wanted to become when they retired or when they rewired. And so my journey has been wonderful. I love what I do. And even on those days when I've said, oh, I want to go back to work for someone because I don't want to have to make decisions. And I did. And then I left because it wasn't where I needed to be. Or growing up in the 60s and 70s and being in business as a female management consultant, 90% of the clients were male, and they were your CEOs and your top C-level managers. And a lot of times, thank goodness I had a reputation, because that's how I built my practice. It was based on referral. I didn't do any marketing for the first 25 years. Woke up one day and went, oh, my clients abuse me. There's nobody there. And so I learned quickly that it's a process, but it's got to be consistent. And so I've hit my bumps, and I've seen it all, been there, done that. As I always say, if you tell me you've done something like the Wendy's, 65 ways to make a hamburger, I've probably been on that journey too. So this was a way just to take what I've learned and share it with the world. And I thank Dawn, because it's been fun.
Wow, you started your entrepreneur journey at 17. Is that what you said?
Yes, actually, I started before that. You didn't think about it I had a babysitting service. I started when I was 10, but I didn't think about the fact that I was an entrepreneur. I just know that I was getting paid, I think, $0.10 an hour to watch someone else's children, which I loved. And that was what kept me going through high school. I would rather work. I set a work ethic, but I would rather make that money than go to the prom or have a date. And I look back now, I'm not sure that was really balanced, but that was where I was. So I've always been there looking at what can I do? And babysitting was a great service because the rest of the girls in my neighborhood didn't want to babysit. I was ready to go.
What a story you have. And I know that is all reflected in your chapter. So tell us a little bit about your chapter and why you chose the topic.
Well, I am a CEO, but I'm also an EVP. I'm also a VP of stuff. And over the course of looking at evidence-based practices, I have looked at all my clients, whether they're major industry, Fortune 10 companies, nonprofits, or small creative journeys where someone just wants to do something at home. And I've looked at what is the relationship between CEOs? What does it really stand for? So my title, my book chapter is The CEO Mindset. And here's what I won't tell you everything, but here's what I can share with you. There are 4 types of CEOs. In other words, chief, and it's the E that's the most critical, officer. And I have been every single one of those because I have been a CEO where I was enthusiastic. I was the cheerleader and the rah-rah person for everyone. I was also the performance-based, or what I call effectiveness, because I was a taskmaster. Everything had to be managed in a project management direction. And then I became this enigma. Okay, you see where I'm going? The C, the E is the most critical. And in my book chapter, I ask you questions about how can you identify, who do you identify with? And as an enigma, I wasn't there. I just kind of let it go. And that's what I said. I went through business and worked for someone else and kept my company going part-time and then full-time and hit that roller coaster. And the final one was, what is a true CEO? So I talk about the questions that each of us need to ask, and do we see ourselves, and how do we see ourselves? And that's all I'm going to share with you, because the rest of it is talking about what creates a really positive chief executive officer.
Wow, what a powerful chapter. Oh my gosh, Sher. Dawn, this woman's story is amazing. Like, to just be able to read the glimpse of her story and her expertise, and then to be able to stay connected to her, all because you had this idea to have this great anthology. I mean, it's amazing, Dawn.
I can't even tell you what an honor it is to be connected with all of these authors. And Sher and I are friends, and we've been friends for a while before this.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's what's just the best part about this, is that we have entrepreneurs that have been entrepreneurs for a year, but they have vast experience in that year. Right? They've learned, they're successful already in their first year, but they learned some lessons, right? They went over some bumps, and they want to share that and say, hey, this is what I learned. And then we have Sher with over 50 years. And so you are getting, that's what I'm saying, you are getting all aspects of business. I can't wait until everyone gets their copy and sees it, because every chapter is different, every chapter is covering something different, and it's just endless expert advice.
Endless. Did you hear that word, everybody? This is endless. That says a lot right there, doesn't it? Like, there's power in words, and that was a choice word. Endless expert advice. Well, Dawn, is there anything else that you want us to touch on tonight?
Well, I just want everyone to know that a lot of these fabulous, fabulous authors are going to be speaking at the Bossier Summit, a virtual summit that is coming in February. And so you're going to see so much information. Everyone that's watching is going to see it somehow, some way. We're getting ready to blast it out there. So you are going to get to hear these authors speak and give you a few more nuggets. along with other entrepreneurs and people in business that are going to get on that summit and speak all of their expertise. And so that is something you do not want to miss. And just a little sneak at it, Bossier Lane 2 will be coming soon.
Ooh, Bossier Lane 2.
Just a little snippet.
Ooh.
And yeah, this has been amazing. And I have been approached by so many other entrepreneurs and people in business saying, hey, I missed out. I should have, could have, would have. Well, you can. It's coming.
It's coming. Bossier Lane 1 wasn't enough. We need Bossier Lane 2.
And the virtual summit. So yes, the Bossier Lane is it's coming up and out.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank each of you authors that were here tonight and shared about your story and gave us a peek, a little glimpse around the corner about what your chapter is about. And I'm really excited. I'm going to go get that book as soon as we're done. I'm going to go get that book and I'm going to start reading it. And then I'm going to start posting. Kathy says, and John says, Sher says, I'm going to be posting little comments about what each of you has said. And thank you for contributing to this. And John, you are amazing. And for spearheading this and taking this leadership and directing the traffic the way that you do. I can just feel that energy from everybody here tonight, that they're unified with you and excited to see this book roll out and change lives. What a blessing you are. Thank you, Dawn, so much. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming and being a part of this event. To the authors, to all of you, push that little button, share. And then share it someplace, because this book is amazing, and you want to help get the stories out of these authors so that they can help so many people around the world. So share, like, comment, get the algorithms going up there, help Dawn and her authors make their dream come true. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Good night.
Ascend Above the Crowd is the newest course by Pamela Hinkle. Ascend is a self-paced email course that will come directly to your inbox and will change your mindset and your life. Each week, you will receive lessons, resources, challenges, and journal writings that will help you discover your purpose by design. It's your time to ascend above the crowd. To learn more about Ascend, go to www.purposewithpamela.com/ascend.
Pamela Hinkle is the founder of the Purpose Center. Pamela is a mindset mentor, author, speaker, minister, and transformation coach. Her weekly podcast, international radio show, and television show are a lifeline that changes lives and inspires people to discover their individual potential through realizing their purpose by design. Pamela is a natural motivator and has shown many how to find their niche and transform their lives. Although success is an uphill battle, Pamela gives the necessary strategies to flourish, cheering you on every step of the way. Pamela shares from her personal experiences, education, and life as a woman in leadership, utilizing decades of knowledge. Taking the approach of, let's have coffee and chat, she will awaken your dreams and purpose by design. Are you ready for Pamela to help guide you? Email us at purposewpamela.office@gmail.com or go to her website at purposewithpamela.com.